Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another chapter review. I'm JD Golden Boy, and I have a couple of things I want to talk about with this chapter. But in order to get your attention ahead of time, I just want to preface you that in this chapter, Law rearranged Big Mom's insides. And if you don't believe me, just stick around. We'll get to it, I promise. But before we do that, if you haven't read chapter 1030, go ahead and pause it, go read that, and you can unpause later or you can just get spoiled, whatever you're about. So let's take a look at 1030 here. Before we even get in, we see the cover art, and I don't know how many people predicted this. We all saw this coming. For the Halloween episode here, the Halloween chapter, we have Brooke as the cover art. He's there with a bunch of army ants. Very nice, very spooky, very fitting for that holiday. So moving into the regular chapter, we finally get to catch up with Drake and Apu. I didn't really miss them because Drake's boring and I hate Apu and he's kind of a little bitch, but it is interesting to see what they're up to. Apu is sitting here trying to convince Drake to team up with him. He goes, I don't care that you're a spy, I don't care what your goals are. All I care about is that you want to take Kaido down too. Let's work together. And they're sitting there with a bunch of giants. I'm assuming they're the numbers. And he goes, neither of us has a horse in this race. There's no point in us fighting. So it's kind of like, I took that to mean, I'm scared, please don't fight me. And he's trying to convince Drake not to kick his ass. And obviously Drake's a little taken aback here. He goes, I'm speechless. You think that I would trust you? Why would I trust you? You turned your back on your own teammates. Kind of ironic coming from Drake. Considering that Drake was a spy who also turned his back on his teammates. But Apu says trust has nothing to do with it. This arrangement would be mutual beneficial for both of us. So I don't know. I think there's going to be some scheming going on behind the scenes here. I actually do think that they're going to team up too. So we'll have to see what happens. But moving on to the next room here, now we see heading up the stairs. We see Usopp, Nami, Tama, and the gang running up the stairs, trying to escape the fire. All of a sudden, Usopp screams, "Oh my god, a yokai! Oh, a ghost! What is that?" And we see a pair of legs just running. It's a torso-less yokai. The legs are screaming, "Somebody help me!" And this is an immediate callback to Punk Hazard when we first met Kinemon as a pair of legs. And not gonna lie, when I saw this, I was upset. I was like, Oda, why do you keep stopping characters from dying? Kinemon sacrificed himself. It was a beautiful moment for Momonosuke. It might still pay off, but when I first saw this, I wasn't really impressed. I was like, why is he just a set of legs? What is going on here? But Usopp sees his friend's legs and he's excited. He jumps up and grabs him. He goes, Kinemon, it's me, Usopp. We're here, we're here. But Kinemon's lower body obviously doesn't have ears. And he says, I cannot hear you. I don't know what's going on. This is Kinemon. I need to find my allies. Usopp says, oh my god, you're covered in blood. Are you okay? Finally, Nami says, Usopp, he can't hear you. He doesn't have ears. And Nami pulls out the biggest brain move in the entire arc, maybe anime in general. She goes up to his leg and she traces the Kozuki crest sign of the rebellion into his leg. He can't hear, but he can feel. He shouts, oh, that was the crescent mark of the rebellion. I found one of my allies. I have a request. I mean, we don't get to hear immediately what the request is, but the next panel is this strange face with Usopp, and I just can't really get over it. Usopp looks kind of nervous, but very determined. He's looking like this is a job I have to do. It's a big boy Usopp does exactly that. He takes charge. He hops on that giraffe smile fruit, that weird giraffe thing, and he grabs Kinemon and he says, Nami, you stay here with Tama. I'm going to take care of this, everybody. And so he takes Kinemon and they're heading off to the attic. And we can see Kinemon's upper body. We hear him saying, she's barely clinging to life. You please must save her. And we see this bloody pulp pile of a person. I didn't even recognize what it was at first, but it's Kiku. We see Kiku is almost dead. So Kinemon's praying, please, Kiku, just stay a little bit longer. Help is on the way. Then this is the panel where Kinemon explains how he was able to survive getting stabbed in half. He goes, oh, I guess Law didn't completely reattach my body before. What a miracle. Bruh. Okay, no, I'm not feeling that. I really am not feeling that. Hopefully something interesting happens with this. But if that was just like just a plot reason to keep Kinemon alive, I'm not a huge fan of that, to be honest. But anyway, he's sitting here and he's just bleeding, trying to survive. And he hears Denden Mushi, and we hear, "Answer me, Kanjuro." And Kinemon's like, "Wait a minute, that's Orochi. What's Orochi doing here?" And he seems unaware of Kanjuro's death. And then Kanjuro says, "I'm here, Orochi." Surprise. Kanjuro's still alive too, but he's barely clinging to life. And Orochi says, "Fantastic performance, but now it's time for the finale. We need to avenge our ancestors, and we can give them a real final ending that they have they have to appreciate this one. Send them all to hell." And we see Kanjuro takes out his paintbrush and he starts painting this thing. "Who cares who wins? Let them all be consumed by the Korazumi clan's vengeance. Send them all to hell. Send them into a final blaze of glory." And Kanjuro says, "As you wish. Please enjoy my final show, the Suicide Pact of the Korazumi clan." All of a sudden, his drawing comes to life, and it's this giant fire spirit called Kazenbo. And if you look that up, it's Japanese yokai. It's kind of just a fire spirit, and it reminded me of the Uzimibo, the Uzumbo, whatever they were called, those giant little sea spirits. I think what we saw outside of Thriller Bark, those giant monsters. I think this could be the sea version of the Kazenbo. And we see him here. He's taking up the entire room. He's just basically a giant ball of fire with eyes, and he's torching everybody on fire. We get an emergency alert. The gigantic unidentified specter is on the second floor. It's lighting everything on fire. And we get an interesting panel here. Momonosuke trying to make as many small flame clouds as possible. And right next to him, it shows the giant Kanenbo fire monster again. So I'm wondering if in the future, Momonosuke is going to sort of take control of the fire spirit. I'm not really sure. But it cuts down, and you see the people in the flower capital. They're just booling, as they always have been, to be honest. They don't even know what's going on. They are minutes from death if nothing happens. Meanwhile, it pans back up to Onigashima. The entire place is on fire. And we see Brooke and Robin, they're giving up on fighting. They say, "We don't have time. We just got to get out of here." And then we have a cold panel of CP0 just walking in. Reminded me of back when I used to watch Naruto, when we first met the Akatsuki. They just kind of walked in with their hats very slowly, very menacingly. It was like a horror movie here. They're just coming in. We see a couple of other pirates. We see Marco's there. Then we get Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro all in their respective battles, struggling right next to each other. And meanwhile, Orochi is yucking it up. He is so happy. He goes, "I know all about it, Kaido. Your massive armory in the basement with the weapons that I provided. I'm going to blow this entire place to smithereens." He's going to just kill everybody in a giant explosion of glory. Something interesting Orochi says here is, "Hurry back, Fukurokuju. We need to escape. This pirate war is no longer any of our business." But the next panel doesn't have Fukurokuju. I would just expect to see an update on their fight, which makes me think that there's a reason we haven't seen it. Maybe he's already been defeated, or maybe he defeated Raizo. It seems strange to not show him in battle while they're talking about him. Up next, we see she's still in her wolf form. She's running, and she's saying, "I'm sorry, Momonosuke. I don't know if I'm going to make it to that armory in time, but it's looking like she's going to have to get through Orochi first to get to the armory, which is in the very bottom level." Up next, we see just a wall explode with this giant beam called Ikoku Sovereignty, which is actually a Elbaf spear. Elbaf, interesting. And we see there's Big Mom using that attack on Kid. And how many times do we need Kid to say, "This time it's different. I'm going to be the king of the pirates. I'm going to kick some ass." And then he immediately just shit on by Big Mom in this chapter. But she knocked him right out of his punk rotten giant metal form. She comes out. She's riding on Prometheus. She has the sword, and she's like, "Let's start with you, kid." She's about to slice him as he's falling to his death, and he's thinking back to a couple minutes ago in the room. He goes, "Hey, Law, I'm not really sure about you, but have you awakened your devil fruit yet?" This is where we all got excited when reading this one. And Law goes, "I'm not used to it. I only use it when I'm near death because it takes too much stamina from me. It's too much energy to use in a real battle." And he goes, "Yeah, me too. I also have tried it, but we're not getting anywhere like this. We might need you to back me up, and then let's go for the awakening here." So we know that the next two panels are going to be fire. We see Law taking out a room, and he puts it on the sword. He goes, "Anesthesia," coats his sword in the room, jumps down from behind Big Mom. She looks up at him. He takes the sword and stabs it through the back of her neck, out the front. And she's just got a sword sticking out of her mouth now. And he goes, "No, don't worry. It's just a harmless incision. But it's going to influence your body in other ways." What does that mean? If Law's ability room is allowing him to control everything within the room, would the awakening be he's able to control everything in Big Mom's body? Thus, he rearranged her insides. I don't know. We didn't really get a confirmation on anything like that yet. I'm all about Law rearranging Big Mom's insides, though. That's friggin' hilarious. Anyway, he does this giant shockwave on her. She looks upset. She starts, like, smoke comes out of her mouth and she's coughing up blood. And the pirates are like, "Big Mom's bleeding? What's going on here?" And they're shocked. They haven't seen Big Mom actually take damage in a while. It's kind of like a nice callback to Whole Cake Island when Beige says, "Hey, we're going to use these rocket launchers on her while she's in a dazed state so she can actually feel pain." Because people forget Big Mom is actually, she's kind of a tank. She's very durable. So by Law being able to attack her from the inside, that's going to weaken her outside, giving Kid the perfect opportunity to use his awakening. He goes Assign, and he gives her the magnetic properties of his devil fruit. All of the metal in Onigashima starts clumping onto her like a black hole, and she's just getting compressed with all of this metal. He calls it punk crash. And even Napoleon, her sword is stuck to her. And so that takes us to the end of the chapter. And no break next week. I don't see one, so that's pretty exciting news. At the end of the chapter, like I said, I like to do my little MVP moment, and I like to do sort of my tinfoil hat corner at the end. So as far as MVPs go for this chapter, there are a lot of good options. We had two people awaken their devil fruit. Nami had that big brain play. Usopp put the team on his back and said, "I'm going to go face this thing alone." But I honestly, for the MVP, I'm giving it to Kandro. Even though he's a bad guy, he's just making bad shit happen. He's going to make the entire Onigashima explode. He's causing havoc. He's making people run away because the fire's everywhere. He's a mover. He's a mover and a shaker, and Kandro is my MVP for this chapter. So that's crazy for him. And now my personal favorite part, the tinfoil hat corner. I love the tinfoil hat corner. So today on Tinfoil Hat Corner, I got a couple of things to speculate on for what this means going forward. Number one, why is Usopp taking the charge? Why is he abandoning Nami and Utama? And he says, "Hey, I'm going to go take care of this myself." Does Usopp know how to heal Kiku? He's not a doctor. I mean, he knows botany. Also, is Usopp trying to take on this fire spirit? Nami literally has control of a rain cloud, so I'm not really sure what he was thinking there. Grass, gets low diffed by fire, but we'll have to see. Usopp has had a battle against like a ghost before with Perona, so I don't know. I'm really interested to see what they're trying to make Usopp do here. Hopefully they're giving him a real fight. Up next, Apu and Drake. I mean, I think they're going to ally. I don't think Drake wants to ally, but I'm not sure if he has much of a choice. Apu's a giant pussy. I hate him. So if you're thinking about the ally, like what will they get out of it? They say it's mutually beneficial. Apu wants to ally with Drake because he wants to save his own ass. I think he wants to sneak out without Kaido killing him. I think he wants to see if he can take the road poneglyph first, and he just wants to just get out safe. Now, what would Drake get out of this deal? Well, it's hard to tell what Drake wants. I mean, he's on Sword, but we don't even know for sure what Sword wants. Back in chapter 990, he said that he can't leave. He's got a goal that he was sent here in Wano to complete. I'm assuming that's a Sword goal. It might be some sort of deal to liberate the people. It might be because there's something else in Wano. In chapter 956, Sengoku said, Whitebeard, Roger, and Shanks, they all favored Odin. And there seems to be a reason for all of these hotshots to flock to Wano. He said that to Akainu. This seems kind of like a flag for the future. There's something special about Wano. Even Kaido said it himself. He goes, there's a reason that I chose to come to Wano. I mean, those weren't his exact words, but that's what he said in the Yamato flashback chapter. I wonder what that reason is. I wonder if that's why Drake is here too. That's a really good mystery, and I hope to learn more. Finally, Luffy's going to awaken his Devil Fruit in Wano. We had Law do it, and we had Kid do it. Gear 5 inbound. Gear 5 inbound is going to be, he's going to use Conqueror's Haki, and I think he's going to awaken his Devil Fruit. I don't think it's going to be some deal where he makes the ground rubber. I don't think it's going to be Bounce House or Bounce World. That seems kind of dumb. I'm not really sure what it's going to be, but I'm calling it right now. I think Gear 5 is Luffy using his Conqueror's Haki along with his Awakened Devil Fruit, just so he can keep up with the other members of the Worst Generation. So that brings us to the end of this video. I want to thank everybody who stayed with me and listened. I get that chapter reviews are kind of not as fun as theories. I like theories a lot more too. But lucky for everybody, I'm going to be doing a theory. I think I'm dropping out on Monday. I'm going to do my first in a series of Blackbeard theories for what his Devil Fruit might be. I have like 5 or 6 ideas, so I'm dropping one on Monday. Tomorrow, on Saturday, I'm dropping my Halloween video. That'll be a nice fun one. I'll just tell you what it is right now. I'm gonna do what would the Straw Hats dress up as for Halloween back when they were kids and they went trick-or-treating. Just kind of a fun little cutesy activity. But I got a couple theories in the works still. I'm hoping to drop one right on Monday. I'll get working on another one too. So if you're enjoying the content, please hit like, subscribe, just comments, or you could be haters, dislike. As always, it doesn't really bother me all that much. But I did want to thank everybody. I'm getting a lot of love in the comment section. Fans from all over too. I think I read Netherlands, India. It was great. So thanks everybody. I appreciate that. But anyway, this has been JD Golden Boy. Here's my second chapter review. So I want to say have a good weekend and stay golden.